like we really need to talk about comparison and FOMO, fear of missing out, because those two things really are associated, right? Because essentially when you have FOMO, fear of missing out, you're comparing yourself to the journey in which you see from somebody, right? So it still goes into comparison. It's just a sister to it, right? So I need you to be clear in that, because here's the thing about comparison, right? First of all, especially when you're not in a, let's call it a healing state, because you're never in a fully healed state, but let's say a healing state where you're starting to develop your self-confidence, things are good. You're not gonna compare. You really won't compare as much. You might be like, well, that seems great. I wonder how they got there. You'll start, instead of comparing, you'll be like, oh, let me tap in for resources. And you guys know I've said that all the time, all along, that if I'm doing something that I'm not like speaking at or something that I should present out my knowledge, I want to be the least knowledgeable in the room. I want to know the least. So this way I can absorb and I can ask. I do not live in my ego where I could be like, I know everything. I don't. So I want to know the people who know more than me, right? And so wouldn't compare, and I can celebrate them. See, the big thing about that too is you can celebrate people and their successes and their joys legitimately. I don't just mean like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. Oh my God, that sucks. Why can't that be me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, not in a fake way, like in a legitimately, wow, I'm really, really happy for them. Even if, let's say you start your business and somebody starts their business similar to yours 2 years later, and they really take off. Their business is zooming. I mean, you're doing okay, but they are like on top of the world as far as you know. And from a fiscal perspective, let's say they are. Great. Celebrate them. Celebrate them, because when you're comparing yourself to people, you're saying that there's not enough to go around. Now you are just going to really mess everything up with your manifestation, because the universe is plentiful. Just because somebody has this doesn't mean that now suddenly you can't. And this is why the comparison is detrimental to your health and to your success, because there's enough to go around. So when you celebrate other people, one day it'll be your turn for people to clap for you. But if you can't clap for everybody else, it's never going to be your day. Ever going to be your day. Because then you'll go into a little bit of an entitlement. Victim mentality leads to entitlement, right? Like, woe is me. Why can't this be me? Now you're angry. Now you're having jealousy. Now you're having envy. You just feel miserable, and everybody else is still living their life. And I want you to be aware too, that when you're sitting in comparison, you're seeing what you think you see through the lens in which you wear, right? So you see somebody else celebrating, going to parties, going to Grammy parties, going to whatever it is that you are, whatever it is that you feel envious of at the moment. But what about the work that they've done to get there? See, you don't know the work that they've done to get there. You know, like even like, I have clients who do fitness for a profession, like they compete and things like that. And they're like, people say all the time in my family, like how lucky I am. And they're like, it's a little mildly offensive to me, because I'm working really hard to get here. Like it's their profession, right? And it's something that I think you need to realize too, that if that's somebody's profession, they're still working. But even if it isn't their profession, you don't go, oh my God, they're so lucky. No, they're doing what they need to do. And so you're seeing the end result that you think you see based on what you think is going to make you happy. This goes into that attachment. Go back to the podcast, listen to the episode. Oh, maybe I'll put it up here. So you can hit it if you want to, and because it's also videoed, but it's the episode on living detached. When you're detached, you're connected to everything, but you're not attached to anything. And that is the best way to live. Don't take that English lesson, but it is the best way to live. And when you are in this comparison state, you are saying that nowhere that you are right now is good. And the reality is, nobody likes to hear this. I didn't like to hear it, but when I accepted it, it made such a difference. When I finally was like, okay, I'm defeated. Like ultimately, people say, well, how did you start just getting into the radical acceptance and now you're so balanced? And it's a daily practice. And number two, I think I just got beaten down. Like I was just like, okay, I'm exhausted from trying to fight. Like, let me just start accepting it. And when I did, I was like, wait a minute. Oh my God, I feel so much more powerful. I didn't expect that, right? When you let down the sword, when you let go of the control, oh my gosh, you start developing so much more power. Control and power, two different things. Control, not good. Power, great. Not of other people, but of self, right? But you got to stop looking and going, they're so lucky. You got to stop looking and saying, wow, I wish I could be. Stop with the I wishes. I wish, I want, I wish, I want. Your wishing and wanting is wasting of space. You can wish, you can want, and use it as a marker for what you're going to goal. Micro goals, episode 37 of the podcast. Micro goals, very helpful, will help you get to that area. And I'll never say that specific destination, because that specific destination may not be what the universe has in store for you. So you got to stop comparing, especially like, believe it or not, like, my son's 27, but even under 23, 24, people are like, oh my God, I feel so behind time. And oh my God, what am I going to do with my life? And I just got out of college, and should I get married? Do I want to get married? Okay. Pump your brakes. We do not have to make these decisions, and stop looking at people on Instagram or other socials and looking at your friends, because usually in that 20s, early 30s, I have clients who are that age. I have a lot of younger clients, and, there's always a wedding or a childbirth thing, a shower, a baby shower, things like that. And you don't have to be on their time. Stop comparing your life journey to their life journey. And just because you see what you think you see doesn't mean that everybody is just good in the hood with it. Like there's an effort, when people look and go, oh my gosh, well, how do you just accept things? I don't think you realize, when I drill into your head the consistency that has to be a daily practice with your 5 journals, with your meditation, with carving out time for yourself. I'm not saying it to hear myself speak. And I'm not saying it for you to do it when you feel like doing it. If you don't get consistent, you will not have consistent results. This means you do it even when you're feeling great. Don't just be like, well, I don't need it today. I'm feeling great. What do I need? I'm good. Yeah, that's especially when you do it. That's when you can celebrate. That's when you can start to expand. That's when you can grow. When you're having these okay days, good days, okay days, whatever you want to call them, now you can expand your growth. Don't sit there and just be like, okay, I can let my foot off the gas. No, you can't. Your journey is a lifelong journey. Stop thinking it's fast. Stop comparing yourself and saying, oh my God, but look how lucky they are. Yeah, sometimes luck does play into it, but keep in mind, luck is all about also how you align with it. And don't get married to what your end goal is. I need to live here in this specific house. Great to have that as an idea. You might end up in a region similar to that or an area similar to that. You might have a house similar to that. You might have an apartment. Doesn't matter. Don't get too married to it, and don't get yourself caught up, because then you're going to live in FOMO, fear of missing out. You're going to see all your friends out at the bar. Your friends are on this vacation, and all you can think of is like, God, I wish I was there. Okay, but maybe they were planning this for 6 months. Maybe they were planning this for 2 years because they decided to go abroad. Maybe they've really been working and they sacrificed certain things and didn't take other vacations or just staycations so they could save money so they could go there. But you don't want to see that because you can only see the surface level. No. People are working hard. And listen, sure, Blue Ivy, Northwest, all of these people who are, let's call it, born with a little bit more opportunities or a lot more opportunities, good for them. Good. Don't go, well, I wish I was. I mean, I think we all do. Sure. If Beyonce and Jay-Z want to adopt me tomorrow, have at it. Like, I'm here for it. But I don't look at it as just the money, because mo money, mo problems. And just because you see that they may have more, that like say Blue Ivy, Northwest, people like that may have more of an opportunity, you do realize there's a lot of pressure that comes with that too. There's a lot of pressure to fall in Beyonce and Jay-Z's footsteps. A lot of pressure, regardless of what they do. All eyes are on them. So yes, good, but there's always an Achilles heel of the negative. And all you see is the good, which is great. That's what I want you to see. But I want you to realize that unless you're good with where you are, I don't care how bad it is. And this is the part that I had to get to. Didn't matter how bad it was. I had to be okay with where I was. Because if I was always looking at where I needed to be, I could never appreciate my gains. And my gains might be this little small thing is a gain. Stop looking for these big steps. So you need to ask yourself, this is a call to action for you. You need to ask yourself, why do you keep comparing? You are wasting energy, breath, space on worrying about how everybody else's lawn looks instead of watering your own. If you don't know where to start, holler at your girl. I got you. Book a session. But you got to get yourself in a space to where you realize, stop focusing outward unless you're going to use it as inspiration. Look at it and be like, oh my God, I'm so inspired. Let me reach out to that person and really pick their brain. It's okay. They're not better than you. They're not less than you. They're equal. They're just in a different space on this part of their life and their journey. No need to compare. No need to miss out.